Welcome to civilization.
Oh, wow, what an operation. This is huge. Did you build this?
Yeah, Santenello.
That's your Google Calendar.
What does that mean?
I love it.
These deer go, woo!
And then what do?
I grab my 22.
This is toothache plant.
You know, in permaculture, we're time scouts.
What a place.
It showed us how ridiculously dependent we are on systems that we're not even paying attention to.
This is delicious.
First world, third world, well, this is the fourth world, so you figure it out.
It's pretty special. They've been doing this for almost a half century out here. Dano, this is beautiful out here.
Is that all you got?
That's it. I roll.
I was wondering if I needed to bring a wheelbarrow.
Oh no. Here's some peanut butter cookies.
Thank you.
Do you eat those?
Do we eat them? Yeah.
Okay. I thought you'd like something like that out here.
Welcome to Waialua. It means twin waters. Wai is the Hawaiian word for water. That's why you have so many Wais cities. Waianae, Wailuku, Waihe'e. Because we live 500 feet off-road, wheelbarrows are a way of life. I have a small fleet of them.
When did you first move here?
Mid-70s, 76 I came.
And you're from San Diego.
Yeah,
How many acres do you have back here?
this is about an acre here, and we
Okay.
have an acre over there. This is a food forest here. In permaculture, we call it a food forest. We cleared it and we planted, and now everything in here is a useful, edible plant.
Is this cacao?
This is cacao. This is our mother tree. My wife just harvested. These are real close. Remind me, I'll show you when we get home. Roasted cacao seeds,
Okay,
and we'll grind some into coffee.
great.
I didn't realize what a out-of-the-box existence it is, but there have been times where I look at Robin and I go, I haven't seen another human being in 2 weeks, and I don't even notice it. I haven't been in a car in 2 weeks.
When's the last time you saw TV?
China Beach. I was in the 80s.
So you've never even seen CNN or Fox News or any of this?
In the 80s, we had no electricity, we had no radio, we had no television. In the 80s, when our girls were young, we had kerosene lamps.
How many girls did you raise here?
4. And we happened to go over to Maui, and we heard something about this guy named Michael Jackson, who had caught himself on fire on stage. And then we were late night at a friend's house watching TV, and this comedy show comes on, and there was a little skit, and then it was like the introductory skit, and it goes, 15th anniversary Saturday Night Live, and we go, oh, this looks interesting, let's watch this. I mean, I never even heard of Saturday Night Live. And this is after Gilda Radner and everything, so. I mean, we dropped out of, we were on Mars during the 80s. And we were doing this because—
Where are you now? What planet?
You know, in permaculture, we're time scouts. Bill Mawson would say we're time scouts. Because if I look at any landscape, I don't see what I'm seeing. I see what it was before, I see what it is now, and I see the various iterations that it's going to be. If we clear a piece of land and we want to plant it, we don't think about, oh, one crop of this. We do what's called time stacking. Okay, we want to have an orchard of trees. We can go put our avocado at 40-foot centers. But in the meantime, let's grow some edible hibiscus in between. And since those are going to go up, we can plant pumpkin that runs underneath that. But the pumpkin will disappear first. The edible hibiscus will last 3 years, and they will nurse in the avocado. So we actually go in and plant 4, 6, 8, 10 time things all at once. Welcome to civilization.
Did you build this?
Yeah, and I've had some really good help. But a lot of this, like this whole house, we go, okay, well, we can fit this big of a floor, let's build it. And then after the floor was done, we got up on there and go, where should we put the walls? Where should we go in? So there was never a drawing. Cookies!
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Peter.
Robin.
Robin, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Yeah. Thank you for letting me come.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
We're mic'd up already.
Oh, you are. Not
Yeah.
me.
Santee. You told me.
Santine. Oh, there you go. Look at that.
Santenello.
That's your Google Calendar.
What does that mean?
Instead of putting it online, we got it.
I love it.
We just avoid Google as much as possible. They're in the same envelope with orcs.
Orgs and Google in the same place.
Orcs and Saruman, right? Google.
I got to turn off the oven.
Robin's making we call it chili rellenos, but it's really a green chili.
Baked chili.
Oh,
vinegar.
great.
Baked green chili, because we have duck eggs. And there's dozens under here.
You like duck eggs better than chicken eggs?
We like ducks better than chickens. So
They're
we
just
like-
nicer to work with.
Yes.
In this climate, and it's a wet climate, and we have a confined space, ducks work. We actually raised chickens for years, and they were a different kind of work. And if I had more space, we are appropriatarians. We eat what's appropriate. We try to do work that's appropriate. In permaculture, work smart, not hard.
You're not working hard?
Not really.
Well, not as
No,
hard as
you know, we are meant to hang out like this and talk story and drink tea and have a good time. And then go do a little bit of work and then come back in and have a good time. That's what we're here for, is to help each other along the way.
Humans are designed that way, is that what you're saying?
Yeah. People think permaculture is about agriculture. Well, yeah, that's part of it, but it's about this. It's about our neighbors. It's about everything.
connections.
Sustainability pulls everything in. Sustainability is a big stew.
It's hard to put into words, guys, but there's a very special, deep, relaxing feeling going on out here. It's tough to capture these in the visuals. I think some of it comes through, but obviously not like being here. Just the way the water comes through, the big trees, the greenery, being in the valley. I'm just describing how beautiful this place is.
It's beautiful. Now, see this? A rope, and look at the other side of the bridge. Ropes tied to the trees. What does that tell you?
When you're flooding,
Yeah, the water gets to here.
oh, it rips that hard here.
Yeah, and it's solid water from here past that other one.
Oh,
This
wow.
whole valley is underwater, and the bridges lift up, and I have to come and put them back. You can see, look at all the debris that's built up. I didn't make that pile right there, see? I don't know where this came from, but it came down and was wound up here. This is 2 months ago.
So when it rains hard from
That
over,
river gets big,
over here all the way across almost to your place.
underwater.
Wow.
I've been out here, you know, like going from tree to tree with water around me like this before, just to check it out. Because out here it's not fast, it's moving. Out in the stream, it's roaring. It would,
How many
Watch
times
it.
a year does that happen?
It happens maybe once every 4 or 5 years. It isn't every year that we get quite that much.
okay, we've had maybe 8 or 10 massive floods in 40 years here.
Yes.
But we've also had years where twice a month for 3 months in a row, it'll move my bridges and I have to put
Yeah,
them back. It's
that's
just a wet period.
The most difficult is drought, which we have not had for 10 years.
We have had drought.
But drought is
That's scary, huh? Because your whole livelihood is off growing things.
and it's on having water.
Yeah, and we can't get county water in here, so even the water we drink and bathe, everything comes.
Everything's coming down there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everything.
Yep.
Look,
They're massive. Wow.
probably picked 10,000 avocados this year. Look, see that dead branch right there in the middle
Oh,
of that?
yeah, I see it,
it?
I see it.
Okay, so you guide me now. I think I see it.
It's pretty special. They've been doing this for almost a half century out here. You know, as 20-year-olds
Toward the river.
probably doing
Ah,
the
there.
same exact thing.
Oh, I think there's another one.
Still some excitement to it.
Oh, and I didn't even get one. Did they
Little
both
challenge. It's quite special. Where did you two meet?
Here,
fall? Here.
Who was here first?
I was already on Molokai, and I happened to come out here, and I met Robin,
Okay.
and she was all by herself, and I went home one night, and I went, wow. I see an opportunity here. Robin had goats, and she had a refrigerator next to a building with a tarp covering it, but she had a refrigerator, and so she had cold goat milk. And I was staying in a tent over here somewhere, and so I would come over, Robin, could I get some goat milk for my coffee, please? That was my in. This was the line, if you want to know about lines.
So Robin, what brought you to Molokai?
My first husband was a surfer, and he took me to the North Shore of Oahu, which was a scene. This was in 1974. It was a scene, surfers and drugs. And it was not my scene, but I met a Hawaiian woman who was my age, and I got pregnant, and she had a young child. And we became really close friends. And it was her grandmother told me we should go to Molokai. And her grandmother, who was Chinese. We came over to Molokai. I fell in love. My first husband and I brought the property together, but then he got tired of me and left me with a 2-year-old in a tent and a half-built kind of.
You guys had found this piece of land together
Yeah,
and
right.
bought it.
Right.
Okay. So that had to be challenging, obviously.
It was challenging, yeah, but I was.
Yeah, I joke, but Robin, this was a person who was under a lot of stress and really, when you're both drawn and you have a passion to do something and yet the circumstances around it just kind of suck for a while. It's like, it makes you question. And yeah, so.
I think when he left me, he thought I'd give him the land and go back to California, but I said, no, I want to stay here.
And I wound up being a stepdad. It's the hardest thing I ever did. I mean, I went from, it wasn't until we had 4 girls, and when the last one moved out of home, all of a sudden, here, me and Robin are empty nesters, but I realized it's the first time, 35 years later, that we're ever alone together. We never had that alone together as a couple with no kid. Because I came into a situation with a child already. I was instant stepdad.
Right. How was raising kids out here?
Raising kids out here was sent from heaven.
Yeah. Yeah.
And all of them would own to their, like, wow, what a place to grow up. Before Christmas, the girls would come out here and they'd go up into the woods and they'd pull vines, and then they'd wrap them into wreaths, and then they'd go cut various flowers and stuff, and they'd make these gorgeous, like $100 wreaths. This was their play.
Yeah.
That was their play, being on this land. When the little one who did hula was going to have hula, they'd go out and they'd make her hakuleis right here. A hakule is a head lay. I mean, they just.
Oh, they had, and at one point there was another family with 2 little girls that were right in between ours.
Yeah.
And they had a little village out.
They had a little village out in the woods. There's archaeological remnants of rocks lined up where they had their little roads for the village. And
No concerns about safety, about bad influences, about.
School was not easy for them. Some of them more than others got teased, and they were.
Yeah, they were the Holly kids, but
They were sometimes the only blonde in their class, and
it's like that for kids. No matter where you
Yes,
go,
so-
there's always outsider kids.
There's
And
always
there's always
that.
kids who get teased, even if
yes,
for just whatever reason, the heavier kid, whatever. There's
Yeah,
always.
kids are harsh on each other.
Yeah, sure.
kids can
And
be
so,
really harsh on it.
if you talk to them now, they're all the stronger for it.
Yeah, they are.
They really are.
And they all learned how to do things. Like our daughter in New Zealand, she owns a house and she knows how to. She's teaching.
So one Friday late afternoon, something breaks in the bathroom and water's running and it won't shut off. And our daughter comes home and her husband says, "Well, we can't get a plumber on the weekend." And our daughter goes, "There has to be a valve somewhere." Goes out, crawls around under the house, finds a shut-off valve because she grew up here and she grew up
She
with
went
that
to
kind of-
Dano and Robin plumbing school
Well, yeah, she grew up with
Without-
this, like,
without a choice. in the
where
matter.
we live, if it works, we made it work,
Yep.
right? Whether it's turn on a light switch, turn on a faucet, whatever it is. There was nothing. We built it all. And if it breaks, guess who fixes it?
Yeah.
Oh, man. But we do want to find you know, a young couple or somebody who would, you know, make a commitment to be here for a while and train them as a farm manager.
Okay, so I do want to leave that below in this video, in the description. I'll leave a link to you guys, either a website or an email or something.
Yeah, an email.
So you're looking for a couple,
even
to
a phone
manage
number.
this.
Are we old school or what?
Yeah, don't do that.
No, okay.
You don't want your phone ringing all the time. But,
Yeah, true.
Would they live out here? Or would they live in town? Or
It would better to be on the land because
better to be here?
somewhere
Okay.
else, and they got to have their own transportation and they got to move to Molokai. It's like, yeah, you know, we
And
need
you would provide the education, the expertise.
somebody with understanding and or possibly experience in the permaculture world would be great, because that's where we're coming from in all the stuff we do. Because every day there's decisions. Oh, what am I going to do with that mulch? Well, let's put it there. And why? Because of this and this and this. And that's a permaculture approach, you know, is multiple outputs from any action. You're always maximizing the return. People ask, how do you guys do it? How do you guys do all this stuff? I say, well, we try to be really smart with what we do. We trim this tree, and this stuff is going to get hauled into the bananas. There's a ton of it out there already. But once we take it into take it into the bananas, I got the deer that are starting to wipe out, like a young banana like this one. But if I take this thing and put it like that, see, now no buck deer is going to bother to mess with that because all this junk is in his way. He'll go somewhere else.
So now this one's going to get messed with.
Yeah, once they're this big, they're good. It's the young ones.
Okay.
You know, deer hit right about there, and this is the perfect height for him to want to get in there and, you know, go like this with his horns. He shaves and shaves and just erodes this because it's a banana. It's all just watery. And
So you want some people out here that either get this or into this way of thinking. Right.
And it doesn't have to be a couple. Could be single person, but couple, they've got each other, and that helps.
Because it could get lonely out here.
Yes,
Yeah.
it could. Or you might just find the perfect person on Molokai.
this is an orchard ladder, three-legged orchard ladder.
Okay.
Can go in really crazy places where, no, too far, oh no, that's good. That's good. Oh, now I'm in the right place. Here we go.
Okay, good.
Dark.
Yes.
So are you just feeding your family and the surrounding community, or is it going?
It's Molokai. I mean,
Okay.
we grow a lot of food.
They've just turned out to be our most.
Avocado is definitely more
Profitable
important than TV. Believe me.
Your
Yeah.
most profitable crop.
Yeah. In the summer we have mangoes.
So this is your full-time job, if you wanted to call it a job, but you sell all your produce here.
Yeah.
How much can you sell, say, one avocado like this for?
$2.50, $3, depends on the size.
Oh, that's great.
Sustainable Molokai is a nonprofit. They're trying to help. They're trying to both make it good for the consumers and good for the farmer. So they're marking up just enough to help cover their administrative costs and everything.
Okay, so there's a real movement to get people eating food on the island.
Oh, yes.
From the island on the island.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a real it's sustainable Molokai. Okay.
Because it does seem a bit absurd that you're importing, at least Maui, I was told it was roughly 90% of the food is being imported.
No, that's not what you said is completely incorrect. It is massively absurd how much food has to get imported.
Okay.
It's not just a little bit absurd. It is absurd, capital A, capital B, et cetera, okay? Yeah.
It's borderline criminal.
You know how much avocado there could be just in this valley? Look at this.
To feed the whole island easily, right?
You could feed all of Molokai in this valley. 95% of the citrus gets brought in. A guy from Planted Hawaii, a big nursery on the Big Island, came here 20 years ago, and he looked up the hillside behind Molokai, behind Kanakakai, and he goes, you know what? If you go 2 miles wide and you go 3 miles up that hillside and plant that all to orange trees, Hawaii, the whole strait, would not import one orange. See?
Okay, so why isn't more of it being done? It's just the economics are cheaper to import everything than do it here?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be some labor to do it, and it takes political will, and it takes land ownership, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, it's like...
Yes, we can grow all those oranges, and they're delicious, and they make great oranges, but they don't look pretty like the...
Oh, man, there's a dark one. Come to
I
Papa.
need perfectly symmetrical oranges.
Bright orange. And ours oranges don't come bright orange because it takes colder nights to make them bright orange.
Oh, wrong way. Plow ahead. Okay, see the ripening bananas?
Yep.
See them?
Yep.
On the top of that?
Yep.
So that means that banana's ready. It starts at some place, sometimes even in the middle, a few will start ripening. By tomorrow, maybe it'll be a whole nother hand ripe, and the birds will have eaten those ones, and in 2 days it'll be half ripe.
Oh, there's a bird up there right now.
No doubt. They know what's good. Bananas are not a tree. There's no wood. If you look at how these are growing, any one banana tree makes one fluorescence. I could climb up there with the ladder, cut that off, but in a month this would all be dead. So to harvest bananas, we cut the tree, which isn't a tree, down. Now, I could get behind here and chop that, and this would fall over, right? And I've seen many bananas harvested that way, and it would hit that and break a bunch of those and really destroy some of the bananas. So the real technique to harvest bananas is a V cut into there, and then a little bit out. Now it's going to start now. That will just come down. See, that's holding it. Cut that off.
So for those amount of bananas, you have to cut the tree down.
It'll only do this once, then it'll die. Like I said, I could have climbed up in there and cut this off, but then the tree would die.
Right.
See that? It's actually a giant, huge stalk of celery. A clump of bananas in a permaculture setting is your organic dump. Whenever you do any clearing, you just drag all that stuff and dump it in your bananas.
Okay.
Dump it all in your bananas, and it feeds the bananas. Potassium, everybody knows that. What's potassium? Almost nobody knows that. Where did we learn that? I think we learned it in kindergarten. You know, like nappy time, they play subliminal stuff. Bananas have potassium. A soil scientist told me this. Potassium is the bricks. You have a lot of bricks, you can build a big house. Well, this is a big plant. This isn't a little grass or something. This grows, if that grows to that in a year, that's a lot of bricks to build all of that, a lot of cell walls and stuff. This is full of bricks. All of that's full of bricks. See, we cut some plum across the river there, and I dragged all of this stuff into here. Why? Because as that breaks down, all that bricks, all that potassium goes into the soil. So that feeds the bananas. So I don't buy any fertilizer. Yeah, see, here's one that got, see these ones, these have been, that made a stalk, and it's been cut off, and here it is rotting. And it literally rots. Look at how soft it is. See? It's not wood, it's fiber. Look at that.
These are great. And this you throw anywhere, or you wouldn't want to do that?
There's a whole deal. You could, but that is nutrient-rich carbohydrate. So if I think what's the highest use is to feed it to the ducks. And that replaces store-bought feed. So in a permaculture setting, or out here in the fourth world, right? Because everybody knows the first world, third world. Well, this is the fourth world, so you figure it out. Because it is the United States.
I was slow on that one, I got you.
It is the United States, but it's different. And also, we're way out here. We're 20 miles from town. It's a big deal. So, you know, in permaculture, you make use of everything to the highest use. And yeah, I could throw it out in the geologic sense, yeah, back to nature. We actually had that happen with a young intern once. They were throwing their banana peels. I said, okay, I get it. There's no harm in that, but why don't we make a higher use of that and set it over there and feed it to the ducks and turn it into eggs and turn it into manure on the garden? And you see, what is the modern thing? The modern thing is take, make, use, lose. with any resource, right? They mine something, they make something, you use it, and then you throw it away. And it's linear. And then it falls off a cliff or whatever, but it's linear, it goes nowhere. Every system we build in permaculture is a circle, and it just keeps going.
This looks amazing, especially from the outside. It looks like almost like a dream world. There is a ton of work that goes into it. Most people wouldn't be able to do it. Let's just be real. They could if they made a conscious choice, but the vast majority of people can't go this far with it.
No.
What could somebody do, even that's in a city? Like, what would your advice be for people to like adopt some of these principles, let's say?
Okay, our oldest daughter lives in Portland
Okay.
in an apartment on the 3rd floor. So when she chose an apartment, she chose one that had a little bit of a balcony. And she has raspberries, tomatoes, basil, all the time out there, as much as she can. Some of it comes in when it gets too cold. She keeps her compost, and they go out and feeds her plants. I mean, it's just a little thing, but it actually feeds her soul is the biggest reason why she's doing that. I think she is stressed about the state of the world in many ways, and it feels to her like this is a little way that she can stay in touch with nature and do something for herself.
It also breaks the illusion of that supposed separation between the material world and the spiritual world. They aren't really separate from each other. So when you do something, you grow your own raspberries and basil and stuff, it's a little less external input you have to bring into your life, but it also is this incredible thing of that it makes something for you at the karmic level, at the spiritual level, you know? You know that song by John Lennon, Mind Games, playing those mind games together? That's about being part of the cosmic wheel, he says. Pandemic, right? What a disaster. Right. Other end of the spectrum, what an opportunity. What a change. If you'd asked us 10 years ago, 2018, oh man, we got to change the world. Well, the world changed. It did it for us. So now here we are. So let's get our asses in gear and, you know, keep on moving. Mollison said, the problem is the solution. What? The problem is the solution. His example was he's going down the road in Australia somewhere, and he goes around a curve, and lantana, which is this thorny plant, and we have it here, is a problem in cow pastures because it keeps the grass from growing, and the cows don't eat it, so lantana patches get bigger and bigger. And he's going around this curve, and he sees out in this pasture of cows an apple tree growing surrounded by lantana. And he goes, stop, stop. And he gets out of the car and he goes, that's exactly, somebody threw an apple out there. It fell inside the lantana. The cows can't get at it, so it grows. The lantana, the problem, is the solution. So Mollison worked with the Aboriginal people. And he would go out to the Aboriginal camp with his Land Rover and 100 little pistachio trees in little grow bags. And he would grab his Aborigine buddies and they'd head off into the outback. And they'd find a place where a big eucalyptus tree fell and it had a branch like that. And they'd break off another branch, or they'd make a place like that and a barricaded place, and they'd plant a pistachio tree there. So it was barricaded from the foraging animals. It was mulched. It would grow by itself. If they put it out in the open, it would never live. The problem, the downed trees, the other stuff, was the solution.
So the problem of the pandemic, what's the solution? It wakes people up to maybe don't be so dependent on things way outside of your control when it comes to food, or move more in this direction of, even if it's raspberries in Portland on your balcony.
Yeah, look at all the supply chain links and all the typical things that you could find by reading the news. It showed us how ridiculously dependent we are on systems that we're not even paying attention to. And permaculture is all about designing systems that, like I said, instead of take, make, use, lose, are circular.
And you have to pay attention to them.
You have to pay attention to them, yes. Right.
For us, it's second nature because, you know, you talk about young people seeing something about permaculture and getting inspired. Well, we were out here milking goats, raising ducks, growing our vegetables, and I went and I spent 2 weeks with Bill Mollison, and I had my mind blown, like I said, because all of a sudden I go, it all fits together in a way I never even imagined.
It has always excited me when I find useful plants. This is a creeping thyme, oregano, marjoram. A lot of these are culinary herbs, but I do some medicinal herbs.
You do medicinal.
Yeah, to some extent. Ones that I use, I've got some feverfew, it's over there. We can show it to you, which is a terrible bitter herb that I sometimes have swallowed down for headaches. Oh, here's a little bit of feverfew. It self-seeds itself. So
Okay, so if you have a headache, you just eat a little bit of that?
it's particularly for certain kinds of headaches. I mean, first thing I do for headaches is figure out if my neck's out, because that's the most common thing.
Works.
Yeah,
I rarely
feverfew.
get headaches, but every once in a while I'll get one, and it's like terminal. There's no solution for me but
Yeah,
pharmacy.
that's the kind
I
of
can-
headaches this works
That's
for.
a young plant, but if I find a good feverfew, I'll break off.
Yeah, there's one right behind you, Danny.
When's the last time you two took something like Advil? Does that ever happen or no?
Aspirin I take, but not
You
Advil.
do? Aspirin, okay.
No.
Aspirin.
We have a friend who's an herbalist, and he said aspirin can affect your stomach, but your stomach lining can rejuvenate.
Yeah.
But I don't even remember what Advil is. Ibuprofen.
Ibuprofen messes with your liver, and you got to be careful.
With your
So
kidneys,
that's what I would do. Is take that much feverfew.
and it's bitter.
It's bitter.
Here's one we'll see in the garden.
What is that?
This is Spilanthes, toothache plant.
And if you take that and chew it, you go numb for 3 minutes. It is a natural anesthetic.
Do you guys have any vices? Like, it seems like you're living a very healthy life. Coffee?
Chocolate, yes.
Chocolate.
Okay, but you'll eat some sugar.
And we grow our own chocolate too. We'll eat some sugar. We're not strict. I got that. Dano said we're an appropriatarianism.
Appropriatarianism.
Yeah.
You know what?
That's
We
I like
were
that.
not strict with our kids either. If they got candy, they went Halloween, get a bunch of candy, whatever. You know, and one of our daughters had no interest in it. But they were, you know, it's more important to eat the good stuff than to try to go, oh, no to that, and no to that, and no to that. A very wise nutritionist once told me, you know, at the molecular level, all the cells in your body have those strings of molecules, and they have like things where things grab onto there, valences. Well, if you're eating all the nutrients, they get filled up with potassium and all the minerals and stuff. If they're empty, then the mercury, the lead, the poisons attach there, and it's hard to get rid of them. But if you eat enough of the right stuff and you get nutrient-rich food, those will all fill up. Oh, you know, it isn't about what you don't do, it's about doing the good stuff. You want coffee?
Oh, I'm good, thank you.
Yeah, fine. Robin doesn't drink coffee in the morning
Okay.
and likes to have it lunchtime. And so I was going to show you, here's cacao beans that grew on the tree you saw over there.
Mm-hmm.
And Robin picked them and then fermented them for about a week. But so I just put about 3 of them, grind it fine, and you know how pressed coffee like that, at the end you get the dregs, the powder comes through. Well, it's like you get this total hint of hot chocolate.
Oh, yeah.
This is a barricade. This is a duck fence.
Temporary duck fence.
Yeah, this is a temporary duck fence
Okay.
because
Do
we
they
have
start charging, or what's going on?
well, they would go that
would
way,
eat
and
those
they'd go, hey, we can get away, or we can get in the river. Oh man, if duck's in the river, it's game over. They're gone. I mean, they'd follow the river down to the ocean, but they run over the whole yard. They go way up the hillside. So you see,
What's this up here, Dano? A little hangout zone?
it was a bedroom at one point, but this building got kind of changed by that huge rock, and so yeah.
It just came down the mountain.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna tell you what. I want you to walk on this upper trail.
Okay.
And we're gonna take the lower trail.
Okay.
And you're gonna not go very far because I'm gonna let these ducks out, but I'm afraid that if you were down there, they would be like, oh, wait a minute, who's he?
Yep.
Right. You ready, girls? It's like kids, it's like 7-year-olds hunting Easter eggs. Go on, you go out. Go with your sisters, go on. What's great is they will find every tiny little snail or slug that exists out here and eliminate them completely.
So they just forage all over your
And
property here.
cockroaches, and and they'll glean any little bits of fruit. So they actually go out and feed themselves pretty well by running like this. That's one flock of ducks. There's 3 more.
Oh, wow, what an operation. This is huge.
There's a lot going on here. In the permaculture book, this is called a poultry forage system, which means it's an integrated system combining poultry, plants, and garden. So there are any number of gardens within this bigger duck pen that these ducks are running in. See, the ducks can run here and go over to there and then go around the back side of this. So here's a big island within the duck pen. It's all garden. This is brand new. We just planted some serrano chilies in here. A week ago, the ducks were here and had been in here for a couple of months. So the ground is real fertile. And I dig in here a little bit for them. And when I dig, there's earthworms and the ducks eat the worms. They eat the soil. I don't buy fertilizer. I buy a little bit of duck feed, but I don't buy fertilizer because the ducks are providing it all. The ground is incredibly nutrient rich from having the ducks on it. And so I can throw a little piece of wire out here. It's just sitting here. It's not pegged down or anything. It's just sitting. And then plant these, and in 5 months I'll have serrano chilies this high and they'll be loaded. I mean, I've got a garden here. We already harvested. There was a whole crop in here that's harvested already, and we came back in and planted more pak choi, more tatsoi over there, some endive right here, cherry tomato that actually was a volunteer right there. Come here, girls. Oh yeah, here you come. Papaya, there you go. Time to eat.
Oh, great. What a place. I love how open it is.
Yeah, there's permaculture design in this kitchen, particularly about letting the air flow because it's Hawaii, it gets warm.
Right. Nice fresh salad.
And yes, that's nice fresh salad. And
A quiche?
it is like a quiche, in fact, but it's called baked chili relleno. It's from the Deaf Smith cookbook. I've used it for years. It's been oftentimes our Christmas meal because you can make it ahead of time.
Well, thank you for this chance to meet someone new and talk about good, positive things.
Thank you for this food. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. So you're both religious?
We're Baha'is, both of us.
Baha'is. Explain Baha'is, please.
There's Buddhists. There's Confucians.
Sure.
There's
Jains.
Jews.
Yeah.
Christians. Muslim.
Yeah.
Well, what that's pointing to is that throughout human history, there have been incarnations of the Godhead came to people and gave them the message they were like ready for. Okay. When Jesus came, he said, love your neighbor as yourself. Because they were not ready, like our prophet Baha'u'llah, incarnation of God, said, equality of men and women. Well, in Jesus' time, they weren't ready for that. They're not ready. Right? Love your neighbor as yourself. That was good enough because every society in the world had slaves. Everybody kept slaves. It was Roman Empire. So our notion is that we believe in this thing called progressive revelations. And that drives the Christians mad and the Muslims mad because it basically says, all right, Jesus wasn't the last one. And it tells the Muslims, the Muslims follow Jesus, but they believe Jesus wasn't the last one, then Muhammad came.
And the Muslims, they feel like they're the last stop of the Abrahamic religions.
Yeah.
Right?
They're not.
But Baha'is don't think
The
they were
Baha'is
last
don't. And in
stop.
fact, we believe there's going to be more.
And
So the Baha'is picked up After
when
Islam?
Baha'u'llah came, when
came out-
Baha'u'llah came in the 1800s, he came down into the Muslim world. He was exiled, he was imprisoned, he was tortured.
He came into Iran,
Iran.
what is now Iran.
Okay, yep.
And he said, one world religion, equality of men and women, universal education. In fact, if there's not enough resources, educate the women because they bring up the children. The Muslims were not. The mullahs were not. Maybe the Muslims were. Maybe the Sufis might have been ready to hear some of that.
The Sufis were.
But the mullahs, they were the dominant.
Right.
They were like, are they religious or are they political? It's every religion is like that.
What about, is it connected to Zoroastrianism at all?
Well, we recognize Zoroastrian as one of the prophets, one of the manifestations of God, one of the.
Okay.
One of our principles is unity through diversity. So it takes the contrasting, supposedly polarizing things and says, no, they work. We honor the diversity of all these different groups, ethnicities, even beliefs. There's one God. It's like a jewel hanging with all these faces. The inside of that jewel is the same, but it looks different depending upon how you turn the jewel.
What about diversity of thought? If you're not on the Baha'i program, let's say ideologically,
It matters not.
it matters not.
No, we do not.
There are no outsiders?
We do not proselytize.
Okay.
And in fact, we're engendered to on holidays and things to do good works within the community. If it brings people to a point of unity, it's Baha'i, even if we never say the word or people don't know.
Okay.
So like on Martin Luther King Day, which is a great celebration honoring that whole thing, the Baha'is all over do things and help out other groups. These other groups that they're helping don't even know they're Baha'is. It doesn't matter. That's not the point. The point is not getting people to be Baha'is.
How many Baha'is in the world? Roughly.
I don't know, and I'm not good with holding figures. I know that it's really widely dispersed throughout the world. I heard a couple years ago that it was really increasing in India, particularly among the lower castes, people who,
Okay.
it was like, oh, we don't have to think we're inferior. This is a relief.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Equality, men and
A
women.
little bit of hope in life.
Yeah.
This
It's highly in Iran particularly, but in a few other Muslim countries, it's highly persecuted. I went out of the country in 1971, but
Okay.
I got as far as Afghanistan, got very
before
sick.
me.
Oh, wow.
That's long before Dano.
That was an amazing time to travel to Afghanistan in the 70s.
Still
Yeah.
horrible.
Okay, it's still horrible. But there were a lot of travelers going through
Yeah,
there.
there really were. But anyway, the only place we've been out of the country is New Zealand.
Okay.
And New Zealand is the only place I've ever been that was hard to leave and come back here. We both felt that way. I mean,
Yeah, because I think this is total new agey, but what I'm going to say now, but it's just like somehow at a vibrational level, we've absorbed Molokai. So when we drove in the rural areas in New Zealand, there were more Maori, and whenever we would in shops and stuff encounter Maori, they just like welcomed us and took us.
Oh, yeah.
Even though we look Caucasian, like outsiders, etc.
They could feel your island vibe.
I knew it. Yeah, they could
Yeah.
just. Part of that was we were projecting to them what we felt
Yeah.
for them. We know local culture. We know how to relate to them.
But isn't it true, you mostly get what you put out. It comes
Yeah.
back at you.
yeah, I think
Okay.
that's true.
For the most part, right? I mean, has that been your experience here on Molokai?
Yes.
This is delicious.
Yeah, Robin
I mean,
makes good
you
stuff.
really can tell the difference between garden-grown vegetables
We
versus
buy the red
grocery
cabbage and
store.
a little bit, but there's a lot of our stuff in there. Too,
Yeah,
so
no, but the greens are amazing.
Yeah, the greens are amazing. It's all those banana peels that go into.
That is so good. So one thing too, with the work I do, I was in southern Louisiana last week. I'll be in DC in a couple weeks. Like the juxtapositions are massive, like here in Washington DC, two different worlds.
I can hardly imagine.
But what I'm discovering is we're in this odd time of the online or TV reality versus the on the ground reality. That the gap is pretty wide. And
That's kind of sad.
it is sad because people are viewing other parts through that online reality, and I don't think it's very reflective of the average person in those places. Like, for example, most Americans, I'm all over the country, are really cool, and if you treat them with respect, they're really warm and will treat you with respect, right? Like the vast majority.
That's been our experience, yeah.
Yeah, but when you go online these days or on the news, obviously, I mean, that's the business model. It's meant to divide, and that gets attention. The negativity gets attention. It's just hardwired in us. But I was told Molokai, you know, I was told in Maui, careful, you're the outsider. They really don't want tourists. They don't want people.
They eat hollies over there.
They eat hollies
Yeah.
for breakfast. And I'm like,
Walter Riddy eats hollies. He was over here a couple weeks ago. He was the most gentle, soft-spoken guy in the world.
He's really nice.
And yet, because he's adamant and he's kind of become the titular head of this movement, they ascribe all these qualities to him. I mean, that's how it goes.
so I was told one thing. I get here, and it's been the kindest locals.
Yes.
Like everyone has been so cool.
Yes.
And because you're on a chill island, they have time.
Yeah.
And you get in long conversations, and it's just been
You
amazing
go to the
people.
post office and you
Yeah.
get a package. Guaranteed somebody's going to open the door for you when you go out.
Yeah,
Guaranteed. Unless there's nobody else in the post office, which is pretty
Especially
rare.
for a pretty blonde. Right?
I'm a kapuna, I'm an elderly.
Yeah, you're a no.
But even years ago, I noticed that.
yeah,
Yeah.
I know, just the cashiers in the store say, hey, Uncle, how you doing?
Yeah.
It's just like, I'm Uncle now because I'm
Uncle.
older. Uncle. Oh, any
I'm auntie.
older male is uncle. Any older female is auntie. For me, I'm uncle, even if they're, I don't know how old you are, but you could call me uncle and that would fit still.
Yep.
So do you feel society is watching out for each other here because it's small enough? Nobody,
yeah.
nobody can really get away with anything if they tried.
Well, I mean, in many, many ways, yes.
Yeah.
Be respectful of everybody
Right,
else.
right.
And you know, I got that when I first came here. When I first came here, I forget who, but some elder I was talking to, and this was in weeks of being here. They knew I was new, so I would get these little talks.
Yep.
Here's how you behave.
Yep.
Here's who
Yeah,
you are.
yeah.
Yes.
Because they sensed I was. I would hear that. I would ask. I would
Yeah.
want to know. So I was an open door, so they walked right in and they told me.
Right.
And this lady said, "Okay, so you're walking down the street, and there's a mango tree in the front yard of some house, and there's mangoes all over the ground. You don't go run over there, take some mangoes. And,
Right.
Oh, they got plenty of mangoes. Take some and go. No, you. If you want the mangoes, then you just be bold. You walk right up to the door. You knock. You say,
Yeah.
hello. I see you got mangoes all over your yard. So you know what? Mangoes look really good to me. Honestly, I'd like some. But you know, can I pick up all your mangoes for you and give them to you so you don't have to come get them? And they'll
Yeah.
go, oh yeah, sure. Help yourself. Take all you want. Oh no, no, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yep,
And she says, main thing you ask.
yeah,
Main thing you ask.
yep.
Wow.
I did that today. Driving here, I had to go to the restroom, and I went into the library, and I said, excuse me, ma'am, may I use your restroom? And she's like, yeah, it's right there. And she stopped and she said, thank you so much for asking. It was this older local lady. So I think what you're saying, just by the courtesy of asking, goes a
Yeah,
long
because
way.
you know what? You, without knowing, as far
Yeah.
as she knows, fulfilled the protocol. You showed that respect. You asked. You
Yeah.
didn't need to be told.
Yep.
When in reality, you didn't have to, but that's just like you're the kind of person who would ask. So yeah,
Right.
real, perfect. You know, when I got here and I was in Mauna Loa, anytime there would be locals, it would go, eat, oh, there's plenty, get plenty. That means we have plenty. Get
Yeah.
plenty, get
Yeah.
plenty. Well, I came to realize that it's the difference between a worldview of abundance versus a worldview of scarcity. And the Hawaiians had a worldview, the world is abundant. We get plenty. And that's why they shared to the outsiders. That's why they gave everything
Right.
to the floodgate that Captain Cook opened. And that's why so much got taken away from them. because the world was abundant. So you share. It's their protocol. It's their
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
It's how they define themselves. You know? In fact, the state motto of Hawaii, it's a very awkward translation into English, but it's translated as the life of the land, you know, the aina, is perpetuated in righteousness. What an awkward translation. The life of the land is perpetuated in righteousness. Okay, they have this word pono. You know pono?
I've heard of it. What is
Pono is like, if you do, we have a postcard somewhere, if you do what's appropriate, you're pono. If you do the right thing in a given situation, you're pono.
Okay.
If you're courteous to other people, you're pono. If you help your brother when he's in need, you're pono.
Okay.
Pono means that. It's
Yeah.
all those things.
And
It's one of
Hawaiian
those
language
most
It's
amazing-
like that. It's multi-layered,
It's
meaning
one of the
words.
most amazing words.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it means doing the right thing. It's really nice having you here, spending time with you, because we get to talk about some of the things that are very real to us
Cool.
and that matter, and with somebody who's honestly interested.
Thank you. No,
And-
it's an honor to be here.
If it helps make the internet a better place, I say right on.
You hear what? I'm sorry?
I hear a deer bark. These deer go woo, like that.
Very much like that.
Right?
Very good. Very good.
Good,
Gavin.
yeah. That
Yeah.
anybody else would go, that was a deer. Yeah, they bark.
And then what do you do?
I grab my 22. I walk right out here. Sometimes it's seriously 60 seconds, and I have a green light, and their eyes shine, and they don't see that. They don't see green. They don't have the rods and cones we have. They have the one less. Anyway, one night there were two right over there. Right? I got them both. Boom, boom.
Do you have a good shot?
You know, I don't shoot way far with a 22 because it doesn't have the power, and I'm trying to be humane. I don't want to injure one and have it get away. You can go online and you'll find people say it's inhumane to hunt deer with a 22. Well, not if you kill them. The Hawaiians had terraces here of which they did agricultural things, and
Is it okay to walk up here?
sure,
Okay.
there's a very interesting feature up here. This you want to see. Okay, see this right
Yep.
here? Remember I told you this word "y" means water?
Yep.
Well, right here, see this low spot?
Yep.
If you put a hose and ran water there, it would run through this. And this would continue on. There's some stuff that's fallen in and go like that and curve around over to there. And we can walk in this a Y. It's basically an aqueduct the Hawaiians built. And this, we can follow this, and it goes all the way up. And as that river goes up valley, about a quarter of a mile from here, it goes right to the river. In ancient times, they were bringing water down here, jumping across the river, and the terraces that we were on, they were flooding those terraces, and they brought the water through this Hawaii and flooded that. The Hawaiians they were masters of waterworks. And they were taking water out of the river, flooding areas, putting it back in, taking it out, flooding, putting it back in
For the taro.
for the taro. Rock is built up to enclose an area. There's caves underneath this rock, under that rock.
Okay.
And we've had archaeologists here who told us that basically this was a house site, that they built up from there and put thatch and then had this protected place.
Okay, so they live down here in
yeah,
the cave.
They never, the
Thatches.
Hawaiians didn't live down in the bottomland. The bottomland was all agricultural.
Yeah.
They came up on the ridges and in the areas where you couldn't grow and lived.
Wow.
Yeah, this is definitely an archaeological site here. And any archaeologist would just come and go, oh wow, look at this. Da-da-da-da. Yeah, please be careful.
Yep.
You make my wife nervous just being there. And there's caves, right?
Yeah, can I go down here?
Sure you can.
Oh, yeah. You could easily sleep under that rock.
Yeah.
I want to send the right people your way. Somewhat not short term, right? You don't want someone out here for a month. What would you ideally want?
You know, we've had any number of interns.
Okay.
We've had people show up and want to do a work exchange.
Yep.
Even for a week or two. And if they're really, you know, kind of like on our side and willing to help out and be not a burden, it's worked. Remember that guy Daniel? This guy showed up and he was great at climbing trees and cleaning.
Yeah.
He just wanted to give a little bit.
It's a lot of work out here.
It is a lot of work.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and
It's a lot of complexity and understanding, so somebody has to be in that mindset of recognizing that and not, it's not.
we've actually had the situation of people with a lot of experience were harder to deal with, people who'd been on other farms. But we're getting on in age.
Okay.
We want to travel and teach permaculture a bit. What we really need now is somebody who has the belief in themselves that they can manage this place in our absence.
Okay.
And want to learn farm management, which there's a lot of valuable skills that they could take somewhere else later on. You know, we're marketing all those avocados we picked today.
Yeah.
And we're
And learn from the masters of how things are done in an
yeah, and
environment
you know,
like
it's
this.
not just agricultural stuff. We're homesteaders. We have our own water system. We get a big flood, the intake goes out. Somebody has to hike up the mountain and know how to cut and glue PVC and start a siphon and, you know, a whole bunch of things.
Repair bridges.
Repair bridges.
But you'll teach them if they don't have that
Yeah,
skill.
absolutely.
Okay. All right, guys. If any of you are interested out there in that setup, for the right person, I think it's a dream come true. Link is down below to reach out to Dano and Robin. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Peter.
That was awesome. I learned a lot. You have a beautiful world out here. A lot of respect and admiration for what you're doing.
Thank you.
So thank you. Thanks for watching, you guys. Until the next one.